That's what means the most to me. I mean, being crowned officially king of dancehall, that's nice and everything. I've been the king before I went to prison.
For years, she remained silent about the rumors surrounding the man she was loyal to, through his trials and the years he spent in prison. But now, Tanisha Shorty Johnson, the woman who firmly stood behind the Gaza Empire, finally speaks out about her time with Vybz Kartel. She not only confirms the whispers about him, but also redefines everything everyone thought they knew about their love story. What has she revealed? Let's find out. Who is Vybz Kartel? To most people who are not familiar with Jamaican dancehall music, you might wonder who Vybz Kartel is. Well, let's help you with that. Vybz Kartel is a Jamaican musician whose real name is Adidja Azim Palmer. He was born on the 7th of January in the year 1976 in Kingston, Jamaica. He grew up in a neighborhood called Waterford, which is located in Portmore, a part of St. Catherine Parish. His early life was reportedly shaped by the harsh realities of living in a tough community, where music was said to be one of the few ways people rose above poverty. Adidja attended Calabar High School, which was reportedly one of Jamaica's top traditional schools, but he was expelled as a teenager due to his bad behavior. After being expelled, he reportedly didn't give up on his education by enrolling in a private tutorial school where he was said to have completed his secondary education. According to interviews and biographical sources, he was described as very intelligent and excelled academically, particularly in subjects such as mathematics, English, and literature. He reportedly began writing lyrics when he was still a teenager and looked up to artists like Papa San, Ninja Man, Will Smith, and Charlie Chaplin. At the age of 17, he recorded his first single under the name Adi Banton, which is said to be inspired by dancehall star Buju Banton. However, that song didn't gain much attention. Then, later in the mid-1990s, he joined a group called Vybz Kartel, which was made up of 3 members, but the group split. After that, he kept the name for himself, but changed the spelling to Vybz Kartel. He began performing at local events and sound clashes and became noticed for his clever lyrics and strong stage presence. Around the late 1990s, he caught the attention of dancehall legend Bounty Killer, who made him a part of the Alliance, which was a group of young DJs he was mentoring at the time. This mentorship gave Kartel a platform to reach a larger audience and helped him grow in the industry. He also wrote songs for other artists, such as Elephant Man and Beanie Man, before stepping into the spotlight himself. Vybz Kartel is an artist who is known for being both extremely talented and extremely controversial. He was known to push boundaries in terms of his lyrics, personal appearance, and lifestyle. He has faced criticism for his use of lightening products for his skin, graphic sexual content in his music, and frequent clashes with other artists. However, he has also been praised for his wordplay, unique voice, and ability to connect with the struggles of the Jamaican people. By the early 2000s, he was already considered a major figure in dancehall music. His lyrics were often filled with slang, coded language, and references to ghetto life, which made him a voice for many young Jamaicans. His stage name became a brand, and Gaza became the name he gave his musical movement, which became a symbol of loyalty, resistance, and street credibility. His supporters are known to refer to him as a genius, while critics are known to describe him as dangerous. Vybz Kartel's rise to fame. Vybz. Kartel's journey to stardom began in the late 1990s, shortly after he became a solo artist. This happened when the Jamaican music scene was dominated by artists like Bounty Killer, Beanie Man, and Elephant Man, but somehow Kartel managed to stand out due to his lyrical creativity and ability to connect with the streets. His big break came when he began working under the mentorship of Bounty Killer, one of the most respected figures in dancehall. Bounty Killer brought him into the Alliance, which was a group of upcoming DJs he was trying to help promote. Through this mentorship, Kartel is said to have gained valuable experience, performance opportunities, and access to studio time. Around the early 2000s, Vybz Kartel began releasing songs that caught attention across Jamaica. Songs like Gun Clown, Tech Buddy Gal, and Gal Clown were raw, unfiltered, and popular among younger audiences. His lyrics arrived with rapid delivery, and his fearless content set him apart from other artists of the time. He wasn't afraid to challenge industry norms or rival artists in his songs, and this gave him an edge. In 2003, Kartel performed at Sting, Jamaica's biggest and most controversial music clash event, and that year, he faced off against Ninja Man, another dancehall heavyweight. Their lyrical battle became one of the most talked about moments in Sting's history. Although the clash ended with a physical altercation on stage, it helped boost Kartel's fame and placed him in the public eye. After that, his popularity grew exponentially, and songs like Picture This, Sweet to the Belly, and Emergency became radio regulars. By the year 2005, he was one of the top names in Jamaican dancehall. Kartel was also known for his constant release of multiple songs per week, sometimes even per day, and that kept his voice fresh in the streets and on the airwaves. However, his rise was not without its challenges, because in the year 2006, Kartel left Bounty Killers Alliance and declared his independence. He then went on to form his own musical camp, called Portmore Empire, which was also known as Gaza, named after his hometown. Under Gaza, the careers of artists such as Popcaan, Tommy Lee Sparta, Ja Vinci, and Lisa Hyper gained recognition. Kartel's music started reaching international audiences, especially after his song Clarks, released in 2010 as a tribute to the popular British shoe brand, led to a spike in Clarks' shoe sales across the island, and established Kartel as a powerful influencer. By the time of his arrest in 2011, Kartel had become one of the top artists in dancehall, with his influence extending beyond music to include product launches such as cake soap. Then he opened a record label and even published a book titled The Voice of the Jamaican Ghetto, which criticized the system. Even after he got jailed, Kartel continued to release music. He was said to have recorded hundreds of tracks before his arrest, and many of these tracks were released during his imprisonment. His songs continued to climb the charts with albums like King of the Dancehall and To Tanisha, which proved that his voice remained powerful even behind bars. Vybz Kartel's rise to fame was not ordinary, as he didn't just create hits, he also shifted the entire culture. From his early days under the then-renowned dancehall star Bounty Killer to becoming the leader of Gaza Nation, his reign in the spotlight was built on his talent, controversies around him, and the need to always stay ahead of his competitors. He became a symbol of both rebellion and brilliance, someone who rewrote the rules of what it meant to be a dancehall artist. His achievements. Vybz Kartel is considered one of the most influential figures in the modern dancehall music industry, particularly in Jamaica, as his achievements extend far beyond hit songs, spanning more than 2 decades. He has built a brand, created a movement, and left a lasting mark on Jamaican culture, even while behind bars. Kartel has released dozens of albums and hundreds of singles, and some of his most popular songs include Clarks, which is a tribute to the British shoe brand that created a fashion trend across Jamaica and among Caribbean youth. Romping Shop, which was a collaboration with Spice, made it to the Billboard Hot 100 in the United States. Fever, which was released in the year 2016, became one of his biggest international hits, with over 100 million views on YouTube. Then there are other fan favorites, such as Summertime, Dancehall Hero, Coloring Book, and Real Bad Man, which also became street anthems and radio staples. Even while in prison, Kartel continued to dominate the dancehall music industry. He recorded and released songs that continue to top local and international reggae charts. For example, albums like King of the Dancehall and Exiled Pharaoh were both released during his time in prison, and they received wide praise. In 2006, after leaving Bounty Killers Alliance to become independent, Kartel created his musical movement, known as Portmore Empire, which was later simply referred to as Gaza. Through this group, he helped launch the careers of artists like Popcaan, Tommy Lee Sparta, Ja Vinci, Lisa Hyper, and producer Not Nice. Gaza became a loyal fan base with a cultural identity and a symbol of resistance, as well as self-belief for many youths who were from poor communities. Kartel expanded beyond music into business, releasing branded products such as Dagger and condoms, a skin lightening line called Cake Soap, and his alcoholic beverage, Vybz Rum. His rum brand also gained traction before he eventually sold his stake and founded Adi Jahiem Records, a label that helped manage his music and that of Gaza artists. In the year 2012, he joined in authoring a book titled The Voice of the Jamaican Ghetto, Incarcerated but Not Silenced. The book was written while he was in jail, and provides a raw account of Jamaica's justice system, inner-city struggles, and the realities faced by the poor. The book gained attention for its social commentary and is often referenced in discussions about inequality and class in Jamaica. In terms of legal history, Kartel was arrested in the year 2011 and later convicted in the year 2014 for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. He was sentenced to 35 years in prison before parole, but in March of the year 2024, the United Kingdom's Privy Council overturned his conviction due to juror misconduct, and by July of that same year, Vybz Kartel was released after spending more than 13 years in prison. The case and its outcome became one of the most controversial legal stories still discussed to this day in Jamaica. Vybz Kartel's achievements include transforming the dancehall music industry, launching careers, expanding into business, publishing a socially conscious book, and challenging the legal system. How he met his ex-wife. Before he became popular or had his legal drama and the global recognition, Vybz Kartel had a personal life that many of his fans to this day knew little about. His relationship with Tanisha Johnson, who is better known to the public as Shorty, began long before he became a popular name in Jamaica and around the world. Their love story, according to a few sources, started in the early 2000s, when Kartel was still climbing the ranks of the dancehall scene. Sources indicate that at that time, he was gaining recognition for his lyrical battles and energetic stage presence, but had not yet achieved the level of international success that later defined his career. Tanisha was a young woman from the same urban environment as Kartel. She was raised in the tough streets of Kingston, and the two met through mutual connections, quickly developing a strong bond. They both came from humble backgrounds and shared similar values and ambitions for a better life. According to various interviews and accounts, Tanisha stood by Kartel during his formative years, by helping him manage his matters and often acting as a stabilizing force in his life. But behind the scenes, Vybz Kartel was known and seen by all as a wild, outspoken, and controversial figure. Still, Shorty was known to be quiet, private, and loyal, with her friends and close associates saying that she was there when he had nothing, and that her presence in his life was consistent even during the chaos of his rise to fame. Their relationship grew quietly at first, because it was shielded from the media spotlight. However, as Kartel's star power increased, so did public interest in his personal life. They remained together, and she was widely recognized as his common-law wife. Although to this day it is unclear if the two ever had a formal wedding, sources say that their relationship was deeply rooted, long-term, and committed in the eyes of many Jamaicans. They went on to have 3 children together, all boys, and Kartel has consistently spoken about his children in several interviews, often referencing them in his music. His connection to Shorty and their family life became one of the few things he consistently kept private and protected from both the media and public, despite his otherwise public lifestyle. During the earlier stages of his career, he even included Shorty in some of his music-related ventures. She was often seen in public by his side, especially at events, where she helped coordinate business activities and occasionally managed aspects of his brand. Their relationship became symbolic because she is said to be the woman who stayed loyal while he built an empire, the woman who raised their kids while he juggled fame and controversy. However, their relationship was not without its struggles, just like every other relationship to this day, especially with the pressures of Kartel's growing fame, legal troubles, and rumors of infidelity, which started to reduce their bond. Many fans admired how Shorty remained by his side, especially when he was arrested in the year 2011 and later sentenced to prison. For years, she was one of the few people who regularly visited him and spoke up on his behalf. To many in the dancehall industry, the story of how Vybz Kartel and Tanisha Johnson met is one of devotion and endurance. They were 2 young people from the same tough environment who had built a life together before the world started watching. It is also a chapter of his life that shows a more human, grounded side of the controversial star, and introduces the woman who later became a key figure in the unfolding story of his legacy. Tanisha Shorty Johnson.
I miss him so bad.
No, really?
Yeah,
So don't you get to visit?
regular.
Regular visit? But
Yeah.
to miss him,
Tanisha Johnson, widely known as Shorty, is best recognized as the longtime partner and mother of Vybz Kartel's children. However, beyond her association with the dancehall icon, she is a woman with her own story, her struggles, and her strength. She was raised in Kingston, Jamaica, where she grew up in a tough, working-class neighborhood, not different from the one Kartel came from. She was exposed early on to the realities of inner-city life, hardship, hustle, and survival. Unlike Kartel, who went after fame on stage, Shorty was mostly out of the limelight, though she was still within the local circles of Portmore and wider Kingston. She was known as smart, grounded, and deeply loyal, having no major public ambitions in the entertainment world. However, once she began dating Kartel in the early 2000s, her life gradually became connected to his growing brand. As their relationship grew and Kartel became famous, Shorty took on the unexpected role of being the quiet manager. Although she was not officially his business partner, she was said to be instrumental behind the scenes, helping to organize bookings, handling calls, taking care of his household matters, and later, raising their 3 sons largely on her own. When Kartel was arrested in the year 2011 and imprisoned, Shorty became the public face of those who supported him. She gave occasional interviews, managed his business affairs, and was one of the few people consistently allowed to visit him while he was in prison. For many years, she was viewed as the pillar holding things together, while the dancehall world watched Kartel's career grow from his days in prison. Tanisha also became a brand in her own right in the year 2020, when she released a music compilation titled To Tanisha, which was an album Vybz Kartel dedicated entirely to her. The project was both a commercial success and a personal testament to their complicated love story. The album featured emotional tracks where Kartel apologized, praised her loyalty, and reflected on the bond between them. The album made many fans see Shorty as someone who inspired some of his most vulnerable and reflective work. Despite being deeply private, Tanisha has not completely stayed away from social media. She has run business ventures under her own name and often shares moments from her life on social media, particularly those involving her children. Her Instagram posts have occasionally hinted at her frustrations and heartbreak, but she has never gone into full detail until recent years when she began to speak more openly. In the years following Kartel's conviction, rumors and speculation about their relationship began to grow. Some claimed she had moved on, while others said she was tired of the silence and sacrifices. While she never publicly turned against him during the height of his trial, there were reports in the years 2023 and 2024 that she had begun to distance herself, emotionally and physically, from the Kartel brand. Tanisha Johnson is more than just the ex of a famous artist. She is also like every woman who has had to bear the weight of fame, controversy, and motherhood, sometimes all at once. She kept the family together during some of its darkest years and maintained her dignity while the world speculated. Now, with new revelations and her decision to speak out, many are beginning to understand that Shorty's story is not just a footnote in Kartel's life, but a chapter of its own. The rumors that followed him everywhere. From the beginning of his fame to his days in prison, Vybz Kartel was always surrounded by controversy. His public image, which is bold, unfiltered, and unapologetic, made him a legend in the dancehall world, but it also helped him gather a long list of rumors about his personal life. Many of those rumors concerned his treatment of women, particularly his long-term partner, Tanisha "Shorty" Johnson. One of the most persistent rumors over the years was that Kartel was verbally and emotionally abusive in his relationship with women. And while there are no official police reports or court records that confirm his domestic abuse, sources close to the couple have hinted that their relationship was far from peaceful. His former friends, ex-associates, and even anonymous social media accounts have all occasionally claimed that Kartel was controlling, manipulative, and aggressive behind closed doors. Shorty, at first, didn't publicly confirm this, at least not for years, but they say that her body language and silence in interviews sometimes spoke volumes. Another common rumor was that Kartel had multiple affairs throughout the relationship. Even while living under one roof with Shorty and their children, some reports suggest that he was romantically involved with several women, and some of these women reportedly had children by him, which further complicates the family dynamic. In the Jamaican media, there were often whispers about love triangles, jealousy, and even physical altercations involving Vybz, although many of these claims remained unverified. In addition, People within the industry often questioned the extent of Kartel's influence over Shorty's personal life, as there were suggestions that he controlled everything from her public image to her finances. Some insiders also claimed she wasn't allowed to speak openly in interviews unless he approved the narrative. Though again, none of this was confirmed on the record at the time, the claims painted a picture of a relationship that may have been more about power than partnership. The rumors didn't stop after Kartel's imprisonment in the year 2011. Some people believe that they intensified because there were reports that Shorty was expected to maintain the Kartel brand, handle business operations, and continue defending him publicly, all while raising their children alone. People began to speculate that she was emotionally drained, but couldn't speak up because of loyalty, fear, or pressure from Kartel's inner circle. By the time Kartel released the album To Tanisha in 2020, fans were divided because some believed it was a genuine apology and a tribute to the woman he had wronged. In contrast, others thought it was a calculated move to keep her loyal and maintain his public image as a man who still had a woman by his side despite being incarcerated. Shorty's quiet but visible shift in attitude in the years that followed added more fuel to the rumors. She became more vocal, more independent, and less tied to the Kartel narrative, and this change, to many observers, hinted that some of the rumors might have had a certain degree of truth to them. Shorty confirms the suspicions. After years of keeping quiet, Tanisha "Shorty" Johnson finally broke her silence, and what she said was more than enough to confirm what many had long suspected. Her decision to speak out unfolded gradually through carefully chosen interviews and posts that conveyed more truth than she'd ever spoken before. By early 2025, Shorty gave her most revealing interview to date, and in that interview, she spoke to a local Jamaican media outlet known for covering entertainment and celebrity news. In the interview, she didn't mention Kartel's name too often, but it was clear that when she did, it was with a tone that gave the feeling of relief rather than regret. When asked about their past, she acknowledged that she had been through a lot and hinted that there were things she endured that no woman should have had to. She said plainly, "Me na liye, me tek enough hurt in silence." She didn't give a list of specific abuses. Still, her words clearly showed emotional and psychological distress, which confirmed that there were periods where she felt manipulated, trapped, and silenced. It was not just by the man she loved, but by the public image she was expected to keep. She also admitted that the relationship was not healthy, especially during the years before Kartel's incarceration. Perhaps most notably, she stated that loyalty had become a prison of its own. "Me loyal, but my learn say loyalty can kill you slowly when you're loyal to the wrong one," she said in the interview. That sentence was enough to create a ripple effect through the dancehall industry and online spaces. It was the first time she directly acknowledged the emotional toll of standing by Kartel for so many years. She also made it clear that while she never stopped caring for him as the father of her children, she had stopped waiting for him to change and improve. "Me done with that chapter. Me just want peace now," she said. These weren't the words of a woman who was bitter or broken, but were the words of someone who had healed enough to speak honestly. Shorty's confirmation validated many of the rumors that had followed Vybz Kartel for years about his controlling nature, his infidelities, and the emotional strain he allegedly placed on her. What made it more powerful was how calmly she delivered it. Delivering it didn't come with malice, public feud, and drama. It was just a woman who was finally telling her truth on her terms. Public reaction to the revelation. When Tanisha "Shorty" Johnson finally opened up and confirmed the rumors about her relationship with Vybz Kartel, the public's reaction was immediate but deeply divided, as some fans of Vybz Kartel were shocked because, for years, many had viewed Vybz Kartel and Shorty as dancehall royalty. Their love story was always seen as one of courage and loyalty, with Shorty often praised for sticking by him during his most difficult times, especially throughout his trial and incarceration. So, when she admitted that their relationship was emotionally damaging and unhealthy, some fans felt like they had been watching a performance the whole time. Those who supported Shorty quickly came to her defense. They took to social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter. Hashtags like Shorty Speaks and Free From Silence began trending in Jamaica, and many women applauded her bravery, saying her story was similar to their experiences of staying too long in toxic relationships out of love, obligation, or loyalty. Influencers, bloggers, and even other artists praised her for choosing her peace and finally sharing her truth. Others, especially Kartel's most loyal followers, responded with skepticism or outright denial. They accused Shorty of betrayal, with some suggesting that she had spoken out only to seek attention or financial gain. A few of them even labeled her a traitor for turning against someone who made her a part of his legacy. And these critics refused to accept any other narrative that portrayed their musical icon in a negative light. Despite the backlash, several public figures and women's advocacy groups in Jamaica voiced their support for Shorty. A few local radio shows dedicated entire segments to unraveling the emotional weight of her confession and discussing the challenges women face when a partner's fame overshadows their pain. Dancehall blogs and YouTube commentary channels quickly jumped on the story. Some of these channels conducted in-depth examinations of their relationship's history by revisiting old interviews, lyrics, and public appearances, offering a fresh perspective to gain new insight. Others speculated on how this revelation might affect Vybz Kartel's legacy, not just as an artist, but as a public figure. What became clear through the noise was that Shorty's voice mattered. Whether people believed her or not, they were listening. Her decision to speak broke the years of silence over these matters. It forced fans to have a rethink of not just her relationship with Kartel, but the fact that silence around emotional abuse in powerful relationships had become a constant thing. In the end, her revelation didn't destroy Kartel's fan base, but it added a new layer to how he was perceived by the public and his fans alike. For some, this was a confirmation of what they had always suspected, while for others, it was a wake-up call. But for Shorty, it was the beginning of a new chapter of her life, one where she wasn't just known as Kartel's woman, but as a woman who found the courage to speak her truth finally. What do you think of Shorty's revelation? Share your thoughts in the comments, and do not forget to share this video, like it, and subscribe to this channel. Before you go, click on the video displayed on your screen.